Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission.
There's a tendency, because we're so drawn to the tangible, right? So to kind of see with this myopic vision and kind of close ourselves off to the world. And God is perhaps opening our eyes. I love Matthew 9:38, right? This compassion Jesus has for the lost. There's not a problem with the harvest, right? And his first words are, lift up your eyes and see. Maybe you're right. God is going to open our eyes to some new harvest on the horizon that he's going to sweep through nations like we've never experienced before.
He is.
Yes.
He is. He's already doing it. Well, he's already doing it.
Yeah.
All of our mega churches. We have big churches in Mozambique. Mostly they're small because most people don't have sound systems. But we do have a few big ones. Not like mega in comparison to Nigeria or something, but a couple thousand people. We're already seeing everybody's going out and everybody's having a house of prayer in their yard.
Yeah.
And that is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Don't be freaked out by the fact that the Lord's mixing it up here. Like every one of us, if it's just our family, now you get to spend time with your children. Never before. Your husband, your wife, like never before. This is awesome.
Yeah.
We get, this is beautiful.
Yeah, the mission isn't canceled, basically, right? I mean, schools are canceled. Work is canceled. People are out of job. There is such shaking and trembling, but the mission is not canceled. I really believe that through this, we're going to see, like I mentioned a while ago, Revelation 7:9. When I do you sometimes do this when you get a picture of Revelation 7:9, where you see every tongue, every tribe, every nation, every people group, people from all over the planet? You've experienced, how many countries have you been to, Heidi?
100 and I think I preached in 129 something.
Okay. So 129 plus the other countries, plus the ethno-linguistic tribes, all of them are going to be standing in heaven. Another scripture that really speaks to me is Psalm 46:10, and kind of goes back to what you were saying a minute ago. Be still, pause, reflect, know that I'm God. And I think a lot of people kind of stop there and forget the second part. I will be exalted in the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. And I'm kind of excited, poising in a posture of expectancy and preparing for this harvest on the horizon. Can you, I know you, over the many years that you've done ministry, can you think of one or two, or there's a million examples, but you're seeing this harvest. There's nothing wrong with the harvest. There's a problem with a lack of laborers. So what is your view when you look out at the harvest filled with compassion? Is God drawing people like never before? Do you think we're going to see a missions revival because of this difficulty?
Absolutely. Because God's waking people up. It's not about a couple of people in a pulpit doing the job.
Yes.
Never God uses us, and I'm a minister. I love preaching in meetings and stadiums, but that's not my everyday. Like that's what I'm doing. My every day is first I'm in the presence. First, I'm face to face with my Lord. I'm in the Word. I'm stopping for the one. Yeah. Whether I'm in a big or not, I'm stopping for the one, and that's always been what it's about. And I feel like finally the church is waking up to the fact that they need to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Amen.
So, I'll give you an example of. I think this has to do with your question. An example of us seeing a very beautiful harvest, and I might get a little teary here. But a very beautiful harvest that we saw recently that we've been longing for a long, long time, but hadn't seen. Would you like to hear about it?
I definitely want to. Yeah, I love those rubber hits the road. Sometimes we talk about that 30,000 foot view, right? But I want to hear the raw, rough, and gritty stories. Those are what transformation are all about.
So as some people that are listening might know, some people might not know, but in our country, last year we had 2 major cyclones.
That's right, yeah.
And the cyclone wiped out like a huge area in center Mozambique, in Beira and Donde. It just ripped roofs off. Villages were flattened. And it was really horribly painful. Like, people we loved died. Our pastors, our leaders, all of them lost their homes. Like, they were just flattened. And we were in this situation where we're like, how are we going to respond to this? Yeah. And what we felt is, I think the way some of the people are feeling with this COVID crisis, with us, we're definitely feeling it with the radical insurgents who are killing people on a daily basis in our province. And can't really say too much about that. I hope you all could look at Amnesty International or African News to find out what's happening on our watch in our province right here we live. So our daily situations is really intense right now.
I'll pause you right there because I want to continue hearing this story. But when you say that, Heidi, it reminds me that COVID-19 coronavirus is not some one-off apocalyptic event for many believers, people in Mozambique and Pemba. This is one of a series of trials that's continually testing their faith, right? So I think perhaps even that's what God is going to speak to people about. See that now that you finally feel this, brothers and sisters around the world, people in general, are experiencing grave difficulty on a regular basis. I'm sorry to pause you there, but I just felt led to share that.
That's so true, because sometimes we forget, people who live in the first world kind of forget that 2/3 of the world really goes through this kind of suffering on a regular basis. Like, just to put it in a bizarre perspective, we heard in America, there wasn't toilet paper or hand sanitizer. Well, in the villages here, there's never been toilet paper or hand. People don't have a refrigerator, so I'm not belittling the suffering at all. I totally feel for you all. I really do. And I feel for people who, I'm not belittling your suffering, but I am shamara tesao, like bringing to attention the fact that 2/3 of the world, and where we live, most of them live on less than $1 a day. Yeah. They can't go to the store and stock up, on dry goods. It's like our country's been shut down along with all of yours, but the deal for us is people are like, we don't even know what COVID is, but we're going to die of starvation. Yeah. Yes. I'm just giving you the road here before I go back to this kind of the first major crisis of last year. We've had many, but it all is, the good news is that every time there's shaking, we see incredible harvest. That's right. We see the body of Christ coming together in an unprecedented way. We don't have all these fights that I think some people have on the internet. I don't understand them all because I don't really have time to look at any of it. Yeah. So I'm posting now because that seems to be the way we're communicating with each other. But I don't really have time to look at it all. But we don't have those kinds of arguments because we're on the ground, like the village is flattened. So we're really not going to talk about who's who in the zoo doing what with whom. We don't really, it's like we need Jesus, we need his word, we need food, we need faith, we need miracles, we need house, life, we need water. Yeah. And suddenly all this junk just falls away. All this stuff that seems to be first world stuff, it's all gone. And now so God's using first world to shake some of your silliness. I'm just saying our whatever silliness away and cause us to rush into the real, to focus on what he's saying and to care for the one in need.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.